Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's Tiff with Voices for Independence, Fitness and Activities, here to share another recipe idea with you. So we've been trending on the healthier side of things since the beginning of 2021 and eating cleaner, removing a lot of that processed food from our diets to make us a little bit healthier. So today I do have another sweet treat for you. For the first couple weeks, I was doing meals and snack ideas, but we do need to add some sweets in there that are not so sweet that they're going to throw us off our game. So yesterday we made something, and today we're going to make what's called a Chunky Monkey cookie dough bar. So what you'll need for this recipe, again, I try to use all whole ingredients, meaning there's no processed food involved in these recipes, so you can stay on track with your eating healthy. So you'll need 1.5 to 2 bananas. Mine are a little bit smaller, so I'm using 2. We'll also need some almond flour. It's a little bit better for you than the processed white flour. It's a more natural flour to be using in our baking and cooking. We're also going to need some coconut oil, a little bit of honey or maple if you want to add a touch of sweetener. That's our sweeteners we'll be using, are all natural sweeteners. Then you'll need some 100% dark chocolate. You can get a 100% dark chocolate bar at the store. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, that's just bitter chocolate with no sugar in it. But don't worry, there's so much sweetness in this bar that that touch of dark chocolate on top is not going to affect the recipe. And if you don't have 100% dark chocolate, all you need to do is take some of your cacao or baking cocoa and melt it down with a little bit of coconut oil or butter, and you can get your 100% chocolate. So to get started, and then I'll show you the other add-ins you can do as well. So we're gonna take our bananas and take the peel off and put them in a bowl, and then we're gonna mash our bananas. This is gonna be our base for our No Big Chunky Monkey cookie dough bar. I forgot the name for a moment. So this is great. This is another freezer one. I do like these recipes. We did one that went in the freezer yesterday as well. And they're really nice because they're not sitting out in front of your face. Although they're made with all natural ingredients, they still have those natural sugars in them that can affect your blood sugar levels, that can make you go up and down in your energy levels, and you can still crash. And so you still want to keep an eye on it. Just because we're using all natural ingredients does not mean we can just have as much as we want. Too much natural sugar isn't good for our systems either. But bananas are great. They're a very sweet natural fruit, so it's a great source of potassium as well. And so that's why eating whole foods is a lot better for you. You can still get your sweets, but you're getting the added benefits of other essential minerals and antioxidants our bodies need, then sometimes will outweigh the sweetness. While when we have processed food, there's just no nutritional value whatsoever. All right, so I mashed up my banana. You can mash it up as smooth or as chunky as you want. And again, like I said, I like this because they go in the freezer. You can pull out a bite when you want it, and then you can put it back in there. So they're already stored in cold space, so you don't have to worry about it going bad. All right, so to our banana, we are going to, at this point, you can add your optional sweetener. Now, with that being said, I haven't made these before, so I don't know how sweet they'll be on their own. Being banana, that's a pretty good sweetener. Lots of desserts use bananas as a base because they are so sweet, but then they don't overpower in flavor. I am just going to add a little bit of honey, just like a tablespoon, to mix in as well. And then next time you can tone it down or increase that a little bit. Just again, be careful with those natural sweeteners as well. But they won't affect your blood sugar as severely as processed white sugar. And then what we are going to do here is we are going to add some coconut oil, a little bit of peanut butter, which I forgot to grab. One moment, folks. Let me get that out of my cupboards. I always forget something for our lives here. Let me see. I have to get the right one out. Oh, stretch and reach. Okay, I have my peanut butter. I'm back. All right, so we're going to add our coconut oil, which is going to be about 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. And again, it does not have to be in the melted form. It can still be in the solid form. Again, coconut oil melts at a low temperature. at like 70 degrees, so this is great to mix in. It's not going to be as hard to mix in as butter or any other shortening you may use in regular baking. So we're going to get 3 tablespoons. And then we're going to add some peanut butter as well, which is going to be about 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. You can use another nut butter if you want. If you have a nut allergy, you can use a seed butter like sun butter, which is sunflower seeds, which is a great alternative as well. We'll set that there and get our peanut butter ready. And then our all-natural peanut butter, you can make your own. I've shown you that in the past as well. If you have a high-powered blender, it works great. What I do, actually, I buy a jar of peanuts like this at the grocery store, and I blend it up, and that usually makes me about 2 or 3, 2.5 jars about this size. So this is about between $5 and $8. I can't remember exactly where, how much it is. But again, it's definitely economical. It saves money in the long run to make your own as well. And it's kind of fun. It makes you feel good about knowing where your food comes from. So we're adding our 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. This is kind of a fun recipe because there's mix-ins or add-ins in this recipe. You can really pick and choose what you want and be creative and make it your own. Throw in there what your family loves to eat. Your kids might have a favorite little snack treat that they like added in as well. Remember, we're trying to keep it on the healthier side, so you can add in dried fruits, seeds, nuts, dark chocolate chips if you want to go crazy. So those are just some of the things. All natural granola would be great in here as well. So we are also going to add just a little bit of vanilla extract, about a ½ teaspoon, to go in these Chunky Monkey cookie dough bars, or again, no bake. This is paleo friendly if you are following that type of eating style. Basically, my philosophy is I just try to eat what I consider as clean as possible, just using natural foods and ingredients that aren't processed, or if they are, they have very few ingredients in them, and you can read them all. That's really important. All right, so we're going to mix that up a little bit. So we have our banana, our coconut oil, our peanut butter, and a little bit of vanilla in there. And now what we need to add in here is our coconut, our almond flour, and then we're going to add just a little bit of coconut flour as well. So this calls for 1½ cups of your almond flour. And this is going to help hold our little treats together. So let me measure that out. And then we're going to add a little bit of coconut flour as well. If you don't have coconut flour, you can just add a touch more almond flour in place of it. But for the almond flour, we need 1½ cups of almond flour. And then I'm going to grab my coconut flour. This does have a few extra steps in it and kind of a lot of ingredients, but in the end, it's well worth it. A lot of it is just little mix-ins and add-ins we're throwing in there, which is, again, fun, and it's kind of different. And I like it because it's a no-bake recipe as well, so it's easy for people to do, especially if you're not comfortable using the stove or the oven. For our coconut flour, though, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of coconut flour right in there, and then we're just going to mix all this together once again. So it's kind of a multi-step process of adding and mixing and adding and mixing, but it's really not that difficult. And if you're a beginner baker, it's a great recipe for you to practice with, because there are several steps, but again, it's really hard to mess it up. All right, so we're going to get that mixed in. Take your time to mix in those dry ingredients. It's really important, especially in no-bake desserts, that you get those dry ingredients well incorporated. So use a bit of your muscle power there, scraping the bowl as you go and folding those ingredients in. So once you get your cookie dough, Chunky Monkey no-bake cookie dough bars all mixed together, this is where the fun begins. This is where we can start adding our extras. They call them add-ins. So they're not necessary, but they make it fun and more delicious sometimes. So for your add-ins, you can add anything from chopped nuts, unsweetened coconuts. You can add banana chips, which are dried bananas, other dried fruits, seeds, granola. So there's the possibilities are endless. So remember, we're trying to keep this all natural ingredients. So if you're using dark chocolate chips, try and get ones that have very few ingredients. Or if you're going to cheat a little, you can throw your chocolate chips in here. It's not terrible. Like I said, I am not following anything super strict. I just try to choose ingredients that are just a ingredient in as if itself, just like coconut oil is just coconut oil. I try not to use shortenings and oils that have multiple things mixed together. So for my add-ins, I am going to add some peanuts. So I'm just going to sprinkle a few in. Again, if you're adding multiple add-ins, now they don't give you really great numbers on this, like how much to add, but I am going to do approximately a quarter cup of my add-ins just because I want several things in there, and you don't want your add-ins to be overwhelm your dough. So you still want dough to be able to mix in and around it. I'm going to add some unsalted roasted sunflower seeds. Seeds are a great source of protein, so we're going to add some of those in there as well. And then my unsweetened coconuts. It's a great alternative to regular coconut that has all that sugar added to it. It still has the same great taste. Not as strong, and it's not going to be as sticky as that because they add all that corn syrup in sweetened coconut. All right, so I have all that added in. Again, you can pick and choose your add-ins, and they give you lots of options in the recipe. And then that's all there is to your Chunky Monkey no-bake cookie dough. What this is going to do now is go in an 8x8 inch pan. And then we are going to melt down that 100% chocolate that we bought. Remember, that's going to be straight chocolate. There's no sugar in it. So if you're not used to eating dark chocolate, there's no sweetener. It's meant to be eaten together with this. So the bar will sweeten the chocolate. All right, so I'm just going to get my pan out. It's one of our small baking dishes. And we're just going to drop our dough right into it. And it looks just like cookie dough. It's holding together nicely. Woo! There's lots of clanking in the sink this morning. Whoops. So we're just going to spread that out evenly in the bottom of our dish. And again, this is going to go in the freezer for about 20 minutes. For it to firm up a little bit. And you can store it in the freezer as well, just like our recipe we had yesterday. So I'm going to spread this out. Take your time to try and get it as even as you can. That way your bars will come out in nice even squares when you go to cut them. And then lastly, like I said, if you don't have that chocolate to melt down at home, you can use chocolate chips as well. You don't have to follow this recipe to a T or use the strict ingredients as they have in it. Whatever you have in your house, you can substitute. Just making little changes to your ingredients will make big differences in your health and wellness. All right, so we have that spread out. Let me get my chocolate. I did not have a 100% chocolate bar in my house. Just because if I'm going to have chocolate bars in my house, I kind of want them sweetened. And so I'm trying to avoid that in the new year. So I just took my cacao and melted it down. I took 3 tablespoons of cacao, which is cocoa powder in its purest form. And then I took 1 tablespoon of my coconut oil or whatever oil you have. Now that makes about 1 ounce of chocolate. Now, because it's so dark, and I'm not trying to be a hero here and say this is how I eat my chocolate all the time, I don't want a huge thick layer because then that bitterness may overtake your sweetness of your bar. So I made about 1 ounce, and I'm just going to spread it out as much as I can. It's not going to cover my whole bar because typically a bar of chocolate is about 4 ounces, I believe, 4 to 8 ounces, depending on the size of your chocolate bar. So I made a very small amount, but again, it's not like our sweetened milk chocolate that has all that delicious but unhealthy milk fat and sugar in it. But I'm just going to spread this around in a nice light layer, and you may need 2 ounces to really cover your bars well. But that's all there is to it. We're gonna pop these in the freezer for about 20 minutes, and then they'll be good to go with your Chunky Monkey no-bake cookie dough bars. Again, they're paleo friendly, but they're just healthy, folks. Get out there, try and clean up your diet, try to eat all natural ingredients. I can vouch for it. Personally, because if you know me, I try to work out almost every day. I've been doing this for years, and I really know, and my weight always fluctuates up and down, and it really comes down to what I'm putting in my body when it comes to food. That's when I notice a difference. That's when I notice I can drop those few pounds I want to drop when I clean up my diet. So yes, exercise is super important. But what we put in our mouth is way important to our health and wellness too. You can't eat like crap and go to the gym and think you're healthy. So just a little personal experience there. Keep that in mind. So with that being said, still work out, Zoom at 11, Zoom Fit with Brian, and then lots of other health and wellness tips today as well. Don't forget, at 9, I'll be posting the new 21-day wellness challenge for today. So try and participate. There's a great basket of gifts for everyone that participates in all the challenges that will be drawn in about 2 weeks after the challenge is over. So I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I will see you soon.